Hello and welcome to another 5-minute drawing lesson. Today I thought it would be interesting to have a look at the process involved in doing my Advent watercolour sketches, which is a daily sketch thing I've been doing every December for the last 10 years. So the first thing I need is some paper, and I'm experimenting with this pad. I haven't used it before, but I wanted to use some paper that was a bit rougher than what I usually use, just because I wanted the paint to do the lovely random things that paint can do. So it's quite happy with it so far. The other things I have are some pencils. I have an HB and a 2B, and a little travel set of watercolour paints for Winsor & Newton. They're very nice. Been using those for outdoor sketching for years. And with that I use a Pentel Aqua brush, or Aqua brush, water brush. Basically it's a nylon brush, and the water is in the handle, which is great if you're out and about because you can sketch without having to balance pots of water and stuff. And I use that for smaller sketches indoors too. The last things I have are a little paint marker, a white paint marker for highlights and things, and a putty rubber. It's a nice sticky Faber-Castell one. That's quite useful if you've got carried away with your penciling and you just need to lift it off a bit, undo a bit. Yeah, so let's have a look at the drawing process. So the drawing process is pretty simple. There's sort of four stages to it, I suppose. Sometimes I might go back and forth a bit, but generally I follow these 4 steps. So the first step is a very lightly done pencil sketch done with the HB pencil. So pressing very, very lightly, quite loosely. I'm not worried too much about line quality or anything like that. It's really just, when you're faced with a plain white page, it's difficult to see the picture and see where it's going to go and what's going to happen. But as soon as you start putting a few marks down, you can start to get some ideas about where to take the picture. And so I'm just sort of feeling my way, putting these very light pencil marks down and constructing a car. Sort of, you've seen some of the other films where I'm show you how to do that. But yeah, just working very lightly at this stage. In the past, I might have gone over again and then cleaned all of the lines up and done a much more finished drawing before adding the colour. But I felt that the drawings then felt a bit too stiff, and I was determined this year round to keep everything really loose and fluid and let some happy accidents happen. Is that what Bob Ross would say? So the next stage is applying some watercolour. So before the picture gets too finished, to get in there with the colours. And again, I apply these watercolours in quite a loose way, so it doesn't matter if bits go over the top of each other or there's some strange splotches happening. Just like with the light pencil marks, I'm just putting light washes in and seeing what happens and what might improve them. I'm not a watercolour expert. I don't use them quite properly, and I'm colouring in really, but I like to work that way. It lets my pencil drawing show through, which is it's the drawing that I'm most interested in, to be honest. But the watercolour adds a nice element to it, an element of chance as much as anything. So yeah, I put this go over the picture, putting in various washes. You have to be a little bit careful about letting areas dry before you apply another layer. If you perhaps put one layer of watercolour down and are too impatient and start adding another layer before it's completely dry, you can start sort of rubbing one layer into another, and you get nasty water marks, tide marks and things happening. They're not so pleasing to the eye. Whereas if you leave it to dry completely, then you get these transparent layers just sitting on top of each other, which seems to work more nicely. So when that process is done, you can see the pictures look fairly rough. It looks a bit, to my eye, it looks like it's gone wrong a bit. It doesn't look great at this stage. It's all a bit fuzzy. But that's where the next stage helps. So then you get your 2B pencil, which is slightly darker, and you firm up some of the lines. And the tricky thing is not to do all the lines. If you go too far and draw around everything, then it becomes the stiff drawing that I was trying not to do in the first place. So the trick is just to pick out those overlapping edges, contrasty parts, just to make a picture that has a nice balance between blurry areas and crisp areas and dark areas and light areas, and you're just trying to add interest for the eye. And that's the drawing looks pretty much finished after that stage. So stage 4 is very subtle, really. There's not much difference, but it's just, I might just take the watercolor brush and just gently add some darker shadows here and there. Maybe just add a few little colours that I'd missed on the skin tones or something. And then also pick up that white paint marker and just add tiny little highlights here and there. But again, not too many. You can get carried away because it's exciting and fun. But if you put too many on, it looks a mess. So yeah, just a few of those, and then hopefully your picture should be done and looking lovely. Yeah, so about halfway through this year's Advent pictures. If you haven't seen them, tune in on Facebook and Instagram and you'll see a new picture done every day. And if you're lucky, you can find it on Etsy, on the Etsy store later. Hope you've enjoyed that. See you for another one soon.